from AP, trying to rebuild the Raiders under the actual Raider image that has been far too long gone. That being said, quarterback battle, that's the biggest battle in camp that everybody, the mainstream's talking about. We got Aiden OConnell versus Gardner Minshew. Who do you think will win? Have you heard any stories about who might be losing? And who do you think your projected starter is? I do know Aiden OConnell took the first actual training camp snaps. But yeah, let's talk about the quarterback battle. Who do you want to win? What's going on there from your perspective?
Well, it's, we're such a polarized society around a lot of things, and we be polarized around our sports takes and a lot of other things. This is not one of them for me, man. I'm Team Raiders. So whoever the Raiders choose, whoever Antonio Pierce and Luke Getsy and the offensive staff decide that they want to be the quarterback, then I'm going to root for that guy. I'm not going to be against one or the other. As a show producer, Gardner Minshew is pretty damn funny on a microphone. So I kind of like being able to feature his sound bites. But that's the only preference that I have in it. Outside of that, I think, Mikey, I've been on the idea leaning on the side of, I think it's AOC's job to lose. And I still think that's there's a lot of truth to be said to that. Also, that said, I think that there is some not necessarily even veiled comments that have come from Davante Adams and Gardner Minshew about their, quote, telepathic thing. I think that's what Gardner said. He goes, there's like a telepathic thing with Tay. And so when the play breaks down and Gardner's got to roll out of the pocket, he's got to protect the football first and foremost. But as he gets outside the pocket and tries to extend plays, and he's got a, quote, telepathic thing going on with Davante Adams, what was Davante Adams so pissed off about last year? Well, it was his freaking quarterbacks getting him killed. Like, he was throwing into bad plays and getting big hits and all that stuff. So if you've got a guy that you can vibe with and will put you in a position to be successful, and you're the most high-profile player on offense, at least for now, until maybe Brock Bowers breaks out and wins Offensive Player of the or Rookie of the Year, aside from something to that effect, Davante Adams is the guy. So if the guy who we already know has a voice in this offense with this coaching staff goes into Antonio Pierce's office and says, hey, man, give me guard dog. That's the guy. Like, that's the guy that I can be my best with. Then I think that's literally all it would take is that, because I feel like he'll have a high enough.
Talking up AOC though, before the start of training camp, he went on a lot of podcasts. Sure. And he was really all AOC in.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I think that that's the right move, is that it was his job to lose. And I think that by saying that, like, as of today, AOC is our starting quarterback. Yeah, you want to give your guy a vote of confidence. I again, going back to the leadership of Antonio Pierce, that's what you do. You empower your people. And so he empowered Aiden OConnell because guard dog was the new guy coming in, right? So you empower the guy that was already there that had the position. So I think that's
Swag Jeff is chiming in with some good thoughts right there. Swag Jeff chiming in. What's up, Swaggy?
There you go. He says DA17.
Are you wearing the grandma hat?
But he does. So he says there he wants a Rodgers type, and that's Minshew. And that's the thing, is that, like, and no one's comparing Aaron Rodgers to Gardner Minshew, but if there's something that's, inherent in terms of connectivity between those two guys, that's different than what it is with Aiden OConnell, then I think that's gonna get the job. Now, that's just one talking point, so I don't want to lean too heavy into that. But what is if they are all, we'll just say that, like, let me put it like this: all equal playing field. If they both can adopt the offense at the same level, if they both understand how to execute the line of scrimmage, if they both are able to get the ball out on time, if they're both able to complete passes downfield, which is a struggle for both of those guys, completing passes 10 yards or more downfield, if they can both excel in all those same areas, and then they're the only difference is what can one guy do better than the other when it's time to extend a play, that's where you're going to get, nod's going to go to Minshew. We read a stat the other day on the show that drives are 3 times more likely to not score when the quarterback has taken a sack on any down. So if you take a sack at any point, then that absolutely derails your ability to score, because ain't nobody got a good play at 3rd and 23. So that whole idea that Gardner could be the guy to find success when shit starts to break down, just that alone could be the deciding factor. That's just our opinion here at Raiders Fan Radio.
Yeah, the problem is I love Aiden O'Connell. I mean, the guy just you start to like him, post the Derek Carr and all of that mess. You just start to like the guy, and then he changed his jersey number, and we finally found out the truth about that situation. And I'm rooting for the kid. I mean, because he's basically, if he became a starter or a star in the league, he's a homegrown Raider. Whether he was drafted by McDaniels or not, he's a homegrown Raider. And I'm rooting for that.
Yeah. All right. That's a good point. I dig it. Yeah.
And, he'd be a 4th-round pick that just came out of nowhere and became like a decent quarterback in the league, hopefully greater than that. But I got to love the Minshew swag, if it's the Raider way. And we got swag, and, we're going to talk our smack, smoke our smack. Well, I don't want them to smoke smack.
No, don't do that.
But, I kind of like the Gardner Minshew stuff, and I can see Raider Nation, and I think they're rooting for Aiden O'Connell technically right now because he's a homegrown Raider. But I would love that Minshew mania with Raider Nation. I just think it would fit and it would work. So I'm rooting for them both, but I got a slight edge, like you said, possibly for the fun that might come from Gardner Minshew, like a Kirk Cousins wearing a chain, doing a dance, riding in a minivan or something like that, because we already had the gung-ho Christian-related quarterback. We've been there and done that. We want somebody with a little bit of edge, because people would say Derek Carr didn't have that edge. Well, now Aiden O'Connell's doing the same things. He's saying all the right things, doing all the right things, but does he really have that edge? So I don't want to have another possible Derek Carr situation. So I'm kind of looking forward to Gardner Minshew, but I'm rooting for them both. And like you said, whoever wins, man, that's who we rolling with. I just hope they can build a partnership where they root on each other, at least for this year.
I think so. And I think that's been evident in both their comments in these press conferences, is that, they've both been battling for starting positions the entirety of their career, whether it was in college or whether that's been in the pros. I don't think it's an uncomfortable position for either of these guys. And so knowing that, listen, I wish Anthony Brown the best of luck, but it's coming down to 1 and 1A here between these two guys. And so I think they're comfortable in whatever role that is. And, if it is Gardner Minshew, can you imagine, Mikey, him walking up to the podium post game and hearing this?
Some areolas and, what are you going to do? What's better than that?
Was that actually a Gardner Minshew quote?
It's Gardner Minshew and Max Crosby. Yeah.
Is that from the podcast, The Rush?
From the podcast, The Rush, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you want to hear it again? Here, I'll play it again.
Some areolas and, what are you going to do? What's better than that?
I love areolas. I love areolas, arepas. I like arepas at the same time as areolas. I'd like to eat arepas off of areolas. Mikey Raider got it all. You know who has the best areolas?
This would be one days with Mikey and Murf if you didn't take us off the rails 20 minutes in.
You know who has the best areolas? Colombian women. My God, those areolas are like all blacked out, and they're like coins. They look like, at the beach when you get like a shell that, big and round and, dark and luscious, and then you got the little thing sticking out from the middle. That's some good areolas, man. Areolas and arepas, man. That's a good day. It's a good day.
Gosh, you're the damn best, dude. Make
areolas.
Make a clip. I've had my time. Make a clip out of that. Put that on your Instagram reel.
Mikey Raiders talks arepas and areolas.
Oh my gosh.
All right, quickly. We don't have to get into detail, but what are the other camp battles that you're kind of looking forward to? I could say running back is one, even though it's not really a battle. Zeus should be the favorite. Dylan Lobb should probably be the second favorite. And then Amir Abdullah. But and then maybe cornerback. But what are yours?
Well, Alexander Madison's going to get in there. I don't think he's going to get a lot of red zone carries, but I think Alexander Madison's going to be a between the 20s kind of guy. Offensive line, man, that's going to be a big one. I think offensive line, Thayer Munford got a lot of work today for Max Crosby. Max Crosby apparently was wearing his ass out today in practice, and which is good. That's good practice for Munford. But yeah, man, I don't know. We're going to see what happens there. Let's see what DJ Glaze mixes in at. Of course, we know JPJ is on the pup list, so we'll see what happens when he starts to mix in. But that offensive line's got to get, we got to get that figured out. We got to get that locked up. And so I think that there's going to be, the good news is this, Raider Nation, is that there's a lot of versatility. And then you add in Cody Whitehair, you add in Andres Pete. Like, there's guys with a lot of experience in this league. We've got good young players. So we'll kind of see how it all plays out. And then the last thing for me, too, is that I really want to see what the development of Ja'Cory Bennett looks like. I want to know
that's a good one.
If the reason for the Raiders not making a big play in the offseason for a corner is because they're expecting Ja'Cory to take a second-year jump, like we see a lot of good corners do. Same thing with wide receivers. Like, a lot of times it's the second year before they make that big jump. And then also, too, I think they also have the safety net when it comes to that position, is that, these older guys, like, they don't want to go through camp. We talked to our buddy Will Compton back when he was still actively playing, and he don't freaking sign me in July. Like, sign me in first week of September. Like, I'll have my body right. I'll know the book. Bring me in and let's go. Like, that's so if you're, a lot of, I've heard from a lot of fans about, like, oh,
maybe that's why he got injured so much, because he didn't go in July.
He didn't get injured a lot. He was just a journeyman player. But like,
that's the truth.
Yeah, but the idea that a lot of fans have been like, oh, we got this money from when Jimmy G got cut. Like, why haven't we spent it? Well, because we haven't needed to yet. And so watch us get deeper into camp. And that's
I was going to ask you. We have. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
I forget my thoughts. Forgive me. I was about to ask you. We have $34 million in cap space.
Yeah.
Do you think we should have brought in another veteran or somebody that's out there, or are you like with the philosophy that you just spoke about, where let's wait till the end of camp or whatever you just said?
Yeah, I think that's when it's going to happen, because you're going to have guys like a Dory Jackson or Stephon Gilmore, whoever it may be, that don't want to go through a full camp, the rigmarole of that, beating up their bodies. They just want to be ready to go when it comes to week one. And then also you got all these other cuts. Remember, the NFL now, it's not like the old days where we went through, not old days, but recent history, where we went through a series of cuts. Now they go, you don't go from, 90 to 75 to what, now it's freaking however 90 whatever to 53.